Welcome to this essential HACCP training course. Part 1, HACCP Introduction. The HACCP control system was designed to ensure food safety for the manned space program. Most organizations now base their HACCP systems on Codex, Recommended International Code of Practice, General Principles of Food Hygiene. So you can see why food safety is important, we will go on to see what an important part a HACCP system plays in eliminating hazards, preventing contamination, and ensuring our food is safe. Part 2, Contamination. The different types of food contamination are bacterial contamination, physical contamination, chemical contamination, allergen contamination. The best way to control Bacillus cereus would be to blast chill the rice after cooking. A physical hazard is a physical component of a food that is unexpected and may cause illness or injury to the person consuming the food. Rarer than other contamination forms, chemicals introduced into food processes can be lethal. Part 3, Terms and Definitions. The principles of HACCP can be better understood once everyone is clear what the HACCP terms and definitions mean. Critical Control Point, CCP. A step at which control can be applied and is essential to prevent or eliminate a food safety hazard or reduce it to an acceptable level. Part 4, Preliminary Steps. The preliminary steps to hazard analysis are: assemble the HACCP team with at least one team member who is HACCP trained. Make a description of the product, how it is processed or manufactured, and the storage and distribution process. Identify the intended use of the products. Identify consumers of the products. Confirm the HACCP scope. Consider the process and draw a flow diagram. Confirm the flow diagram is correct by following the process. A full description of the product should be drawn up, including relevant safety information such as composition, chemical physical structure, including available water, pH, etc., microcidal static treatments, heat treatment, freezing, brining, smoking, etc., packaging, durability and storage conditions, and method of distribution. The HACCP team should confirm the processing operation against the flow diagram during all stages and hours of operation. Part 5, Prerequisite Programs. Prerequisite programs are put in place for hazards not reasonably likely to occur. If these prerequisite programs are not functioning effectively, then the introduction of HACCP will be complicated, resulting in a cumbersome, over-documented system. Part 6, HACCP Principles. We will now go through the 7 HACCP principles. Principle 1, conduct a hazard analysis. Principle 2, determine the critical control points, CCPs. Each potential food safety hazard should now be risk assessed by the food safety team. Probability and severity are multiplied to give a significance score for the hazard. All of the food safety hazards that score a 9 are regarded as significant and form the significant food safety hazard list. HACCP Principle 2 is to identify the critical control points in the process. Many critical control points are commonly applied in food processing and production. There are many more possible CCPs. Not every process is the same, and that is why it is so important to conduct your own hazard analysis. In order to decide if hazard control is a critical control point, we use the decision tree to help us. Now you have identified your critical control points. HACCP Principle 3 requires your HACCP team to establish critical limits for each preventive measure you will carry out at each CCP. A critical limit can be a maximum temperature condition such as in cold storage, for example maximum 5 degrees Celsius, is the upper critical limit. Your HACCP system should be designed to correct problems before they affect the safety of the food products people actually consume. HACCP plans should include process step, hazard, control measure, critical limits, monitoring procedures, corrective action, responsibilities, reference to relevant records. Let's look at an example of a critical control point. See Step 24, Pasteurization. So our assessment shows that pasteurization is a specific and effective control measure that kills pathogens. Now we use the decision tree to decide if it is to be controlled as a critical control point in the HACCP plan. Critical control points are determined using the decision tree questions. Question 1. Are control measures in place for the hazard? Yes, there are control measures in place. If control measures are in place for the hazard, then go straight to Question 2. Question 2. Does the step eliminate or reduce the hazard to an acceptable level? Yes, the step eliminates the pathogens of concern. A yes to Question 2 means this is a critical control point and part of the HACCP plan. So we have categorized this as a critical control point in the process and included in the HACCP plan. Monitoring and actions are recorded on the yogurt pasteurizer log sheet.